Hey, what's happening, y'all? This is Jeffrey at Jeffrey TV coming to you live.
Greetings. My name is Jeffrey, and welcome to Jeffrey Television.
I want to take this time to weigh in on the Michael Jackson thing. First of all, I grew up with Michael Jackson. Somebody pulled up right behind me playing Thriller. My mother had Michael Jackson 45s in her collection. I had Michael Jackson records in my collection before I was able to even go outside and buy my own bubble gum. And we were allowed to play the stereo. So I Want You Back was one of the first records, my first exposure to music, period. Me and my sister used to play it and sing it, and she would sing the girl part, and I would sing the boy part. And I can remember when we first saw the Jackson 5 on television, but it kind of tripped us out that Michael was a boy. She would sing the girl part, and I would sing the boy part. That kind of leads me back to where I think the whole Michael Jackson problem or issue all stems from. Bottom line it, this is the Jeffrey TV, P-Funk 1, Michael Jackson. Most elegant, most simplest theory. Michael Jackson was a girl in a man's body. That's all it was, plain and simple. Michael Jackson was a girl in a man's body. And to a lot of people, that is an abomination. To a lot of people in a lot of institutions, that is an abomination and you can't have it. For the greatest entertainer in the history of mankind to be a girl in a man's body is probably unacceptable as far as economically and business-wise and society-wise and all that. Me, doesn't bother me at all. Because if you look at Michael Jackson when he died, how he looked when he died, and how he quote-unquote should look or look when he was younger, Michael Jackson was a freaky-looking character. I mean, we got used to it because he was the greatest, and we, slowly watched the evolution. But he was kind of crazy looking. But he was still bad as hell. Even the rehearsal video, that little rehearsal video, the last rehearsal video they shoot, that shit is just bad. Your boy's just flowing. He has it. He has the moves and that thing, that special talent to find that little thing that makes you go, woo. And another thing with Michael Jackson was that that really tripped me out is that not only did I grow up on him with I Want You Back and ABC and I'll Be There, we had all those records in our collection, 45s, like I said, from 6 or 7. Before my son could even talk, he was responding to Michael Jackson videos on TV. The way you make me feel. When that video would come on, he'd run to the TV set. My wife said, look, watch this. And she would Jeffrey in front of the TV. And that part when he goes, he goes, and he goes, Jeffrey did that right on time and on beat. And that just, as far as rhythm and stuff goes for me, that just blew me away. That just blew me away. The boy couldn't even talk yet, but he knew when to come in on Michael Jackson, and he did it. And it was, he was into Michael Jackson. So for me to be into Michael Jackson, and then my son to be into Michael Jackson, and let alone the whole moonwalking and dancing machine, and he was on Carol Burnett. I mean, Carol Burnett was my show. Don't sleep. Michael Jackson was on Carol Burnett, Motown 25, Billie Jean, just the whole thing. He was the greatest entertainer in the world. But the greatest entertainer in the world and the focal point of Pepsi and everybody could not be a girl in a man's body. That's unacceptable. I mentioned that to some people I was sitting around talking with, and one of them said, yeah, especially with Joe Jackson as daddy. They may or may not agree with what I said, but they put it together. Just imagine having Joe Jackson as your daddy and you a girl in a man's body. It would explain, him being around the 13-year-old boys and sleeping together and having little, sleepovers and cuddlings. And, as far as the molestation goes, I don't know if he did it or not, but if he did, it wouldn't surprise me. But I can see how he just probably wanted to just have that affection. If he was feminine, and he wanted that contact, just that cuddling affection, of children around. You know how a mother or female just likes to hold their kids and just have that contact and that kind of soft kind of physical companionship, you know. And that could probably have led to some petting or some touching or something, which, you know. If you look at all Michael Jackson's problems, they stem from him being a woman in a man's body, because he couldn't be who he wanted to be. You know, he really couldn't be that person who he wanted to be. He always had to hide it. And I read an article the other day about a guy, you know, interviewed Michael, was around him, blah, blah, blah. He said he has evidence, documented evidence, that Michael Jackson was gay, and he used to cross-dress. When I read that, I was like, yep, I knew it. He said Michael Jackson used to dress up like a girl. And that does not surprise me at all. And to me, there's nothing wrong with that. I can almost understand it. But like I said, the world ain't having it. The world ain't having it. And I hope, and in a way, I hope it comes out that he was gay, or that he was this or that. It wasn't too much coverage of it. I just sat and watched all the coverage, just absorbed it, and all the videos. And so that's my Michael Jackson thing. Just wanted to holler at that y'all know, and talk about Michael, pay my tribute to the greatest entertainer in the history of mankind. And I also told some other people that Michael Jackson is bigger than Jesus. More people believe in Michael Jackson than they do in Jesus. You know, black people's like, oh my God. And I thought about it, I told him, I said, most people in this world are not Christian. You know, there's only people around you and in this country, in the West, and a couple other places where Christianity is running rampant. You go other places, they do not believe in Christianity. But they do believe in Michael Jackson, because they've seen him and they heard him and they felt his music and they love him. But some people, everybody does not believe in Jesus. So actually, Michael is probably, I don't want to say the most transcending figure, or it sounds like a good word, transcending figure. Michael Jackson is probably the most recognized, most universal figure, you know, in human history, you know, because of his music. Tell you something else too, what he did. He took his empire and he gave it to white people. You can say all you want. He took his empire and he gave it to white people. He put it in the hands of white people. It was like he didn't want black people to have nothing to do with it. It was like he either didn't want black people to have nothing to do with it, or he didn't want Joe Jackson to have nothing to do with it. He put his empire in the hands of 2 white lawyers and his children. He got white kids. Now we sit in there, all the black people in the world, the deepest, darkest, chocolate, most beautiful reunion ceremony that Jackson's dressed alike. It was gorgeous. It was just maybe the greatest single ceremony in mankind's history. Well done, beautiful. And then you got all these black people in there, and they turn around and the focal point is his white kids. You know, and Michael Jackson at the end was white. So not only do I think he was a girl, he was a white girl. And I don't blame him for that either. You know, I love him, and I was watching the memorial, and it, you know, other than watching all the coverage, I was watching the memorial and it hit me. I was like, wow, yeah, he's gone. You know, he's gone. He was the greatest, and I grew up with him, and he's gone. You know? Michael Jackson. And he should be buried at Neverland. And they should make that like a Graceland. A Neverland and a Graceland, opposite ends of the coast. Tourist attraction, blah, 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 income, blah, 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 blah. And Joe Jackson is crazy. Joe Jackson is crazy. I was like, what is he doing talking about a record label when your son just died, laughing and joking like that? I understand they're moving on. I understand, you know, you don't have to grieve, cry, you know, like you're gonna die. But it was kind of, I don't want to use the word inappropriate because I really don't believe that word, but it was kind of out of place, I would say, for him. Anyway, my name is Jeffrey. I gotta go, y'all. Michael Jackson, people. Michael Jackson, people.